Yo, what's up, body bags? Sorry for the poor lighting. It's been raining in my house for the past few days, so it's been dark out. But this review I wanted to do is for Tales from the Hood. If it's been reviewed on this channel before, my bad, but I tried to look for it and I didn't see anything on it. But I feel like this movie definitely needed to be reviewed if it wasn't already. When this came out, I think it was last year or the year before the latest, this was like the release of the year for me. This was a holy grail title. Just because I had seen it way back young and I never got the VHS and it was out of print for so long. And so when this was announced, I was beyond hyped. And this is still one of my favorite movies in my collection. Basically, because Tales from the Crypt was my favorite show of all time, this kind of follows that same framework. It's the Hood version, though, obviously, and I know Spike Lee had something to do with it, a producer, yeah, executive producer. But anyways, this came out in '95, and it's an anthology series. Basically, this Clarence Williams III plays like a funeral home director, and these three black kids are going to rob this place, and they're to get the shit, as it's called. And they end up running into Clarence Williams III, and he sits them down and basically tells them these three stories. And the first one is like probably my favorite one. It's like these crooked cops, and Wings Hauser plays one of the cops, which is really cool, from The Carpenter. And I don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen it, because I definitely recommend everyone picking this up if you don't have it. But really good performances in that. Really enjoyable. There's some zombie aspects with it, some good effects, especially the scene towards the end where there's like the graffiti on the wall and stuff. I thought those effects were really good for a mid-90s. This was like a straight-to-video thing, I think. I don't think this was in theaters. And the second story has to do with like this slave woman made all these puppets, and these puppets come to life now with this family that moves in the house. And yeah, it's just a really enjoyable movie. Effects are amazing. The atmosphere is on point. The soundtrack is awesome. Spice One's in it. Just really early mid-90s gangster rap soundtrack. You can't go wrong with this movie at all. Super fun time. If you love Tales from the Crypt or anthology films, this is definitely the way to go. I mean, you could find this for under 20 bucks on Amazon, I'm sure, so it's definitely worth that. The Blu-ray transfer looks really amazing, especially for a straight-to-video 90s film. And I never thought this movie would get a release in the first place. I just never imagined it would get a Blu-ray release, just because I wasn't sure what the deal was with it as far as rights went. But there's a lot of like who's who type actors in this from the 90s and the black actors and stuff. So that's cool to point that out. Has the OG cover art for the reverse, and awesome cover art. I wish they did a better job at the slipcover. I'm not a huge fan of the art on that, but it fits the movie, I guess. It's pretty cool. But yeah, the whole thing with the morgue and stuff I think is really badass. Just the whole atmosphere of it. There's not much more I could say. It's definitely one you need to see for yourself. I rank this higher than the Tales from the Crypt movies. If I was making a top 5 anthology film list, this would be probably like the top 3 of that list for sure. You know, I've seen this countless times since I got it, and this has a ton more rewatches for me, so it's worth any money that you would ever spend on it. Just super fun. But anyways, guys, thanks for checking it out, and see you next Monday. Peace.